Hey Bible lovers, I'm Tim Nichols, and I'm here to bring you your Nichols Worth, and today from Trinitarian Bible Society. I have a couple Bibles that I want you to look at. First is a new release in the Hampton Text, and this thing is tiny. We're going to kind of show you the purpose of this and how it works, and then we're going to take a look at the Westminster Reference Bible. Now this is the regular size edition with the 9.6 font. They actually have a larger one with an 11.8 font. I'm going to show you some features and some differences between the Royal Youngblood edition, actually called Youngblood today. And I've got some news, so wait till the end so I can share with you some exciting news. But first, let's start off with this Hampton Bible. This thing is tiny. It's 5.5 inches tall and 3.7 inches wide. This is a little bitty guy. For comparison purposes, here's your standard little bitty New Testament Gideon Bible. And you can see it's probably about 1.5 inches taller and a little over 1 inch wider. And this is just under 1 inch thick, so it's probably about 1/2 inch thicker. But this thing is loaded with potential. Number one, it is an outreach Bible. The hardback is right now priced at $11, and the paperback is $9. So you're talking about $11 for a really nice King James version of the Bible. Now, when you open it up, it's going to have a preface in it, but this preface is a welcome to this Hampton edition. Now, it does have a dedicatory letter to King James, but it does not have the other preface or the foreword that explains the translation philosophy. So that's going to be missing in this. And the paper is rather thin. I don't know the thickness of this, but I'm going to say this is probably, just a guess, 28 GSM paper. But it is line matched. This is a 6.3 font, so this is little. But what's really interesting about this and what really makes this an outreach Bible is, number one, it's compact size. It's very easy to use in an outreach setting. And then number two would be its price. But number three is the King James has some outdated, or what some call archaic, words, and this one doesn't have the translator notes at the bottom. It doesn't have cross references, but at the bottom here, it has the archaic words defined. So it's really nice. I'm really hoping that they bring this into a mid-size with like a 9-point font. This would just be a gorgeous King James Bible because there's not a lot in the way. It has running headers at the top. It doesn't have any subject headings. Really nice bold chapter numbers, really nice bold verse numbers, and then it just have some notations to let you know when there's an archaic word, and at the bottom it has that word defined. This is so beautifully laid out, really just perfect in my mind. It's a justified text, so it has a straight line on each side so it doesn't look all wonky. And of course, in the King James, most of your traditional layouts are going to have the poetry laid out the same. So just really excellent layout with this. One thing I do wish they do, but I understand why they didn't, is I wish they would start a new book on a new page. But this even has some decent little margin space. Just imagine if they were to go ahead and blow this up to a mid-sized Bible. They have this in several cover options. Here is the William Tyndale Commemorative Edition, and this one actually comes with a couple of ribbons. I thought that was really cool. Of course, same guts. And then if you want to save a couple bucks, they do have them in a paperback option. Now this is going to have a glued binding and pretty much the same. Now the hardbacks, I can't tell, but those have signatures there. If you want to see that, I believe, I'm not going to say this for sure, but I believe this is actually a sewn binding, if I were guessing. But I can't really tell, but it does definitely have signatures that indicate that it's sewn. So now let's move into this, the Westminster Reference Bible. They have these available in a more premium type option and in a hardback edition. These are under 40 bucks in hardback. These are somewhere in the neighborhood between $95 and $120 depending on the size. I don't think they currently have the mid-size available on their website anymore because I think it's sold out. But they are coming out with a new edition, and again, wait to the end because I've got some information to give you. But they do have the large print available. That one's in an 11.8 font. This one's in a 9.6. So first, let's go ahead and look at this hardback because again, $36. This is a great deal on a great Bible. So with the hardback, of course, you're going to have the paper liner. But one thing that a lot of people skip over when they buy a Bible is they skip over the material in the front. Now this is going to have the epistle dedicatory letter. And then it's got, this actually does have the to the readers section, which I think is really nice to have in any translation, but especially in the King James. And then it gives you some helpful characteristics of the authorized version. Trinitarian Bible Society is actually a King James only publisher, so that's something interesting for you to know. But then it gives you some of the features of this Bible. Number one, it has book titles, it has chapter summaries, it has psalm headings. The little headings like a Psalm of David, they believe that's part of the inspired text because it was in the original Hebrew. The subscriptions to the epistle, some of you may not know what that is. They're not included in this, so I'm going to give you an example of that here in just a second. It has reference margins, and then it has further content in the margins, and that's explained here. You have running page headers, so you know what subject you're on, and you see that at the top of the page. Then it has chapter summaries before each chapter, and it's laid out really interesting. And then it has superscripts where there's a number or a letter or an asterisk or this little double S thing right here, and each one has a different purpose. The letter lets you know a reference. The number lets you know a clearer, more literal definition in other places where that word occurs. The asterisk lets you know where there's an archaic word or something that means something different today than it did then. And then the little SS is monetary units and weights. I'm going to give you an example of each of these references, but before we do that, I thought I'd show you what an epistle subscription is. This is the Humble Lamb KJV Lion, but at the end of some of your King James, Pauline, or general epistles, you're going to have this, written to the Romans from Corinthus and sent by Phoebe, servant of the church at Cenchrea. Now this was added very early in church history, but it was not part of the original manuscript. So they don't add this because that can seem a little confusing when you see that in with the text. Sometimes they determine authorship and various things, so because it's not inspired, they went ahead and eliminated that from this authorized version. But now I want to show you. Here is the layout, and this thing is awesome. It has all your references in the outer and inner column. 9.6 font, very beautifully laid out. It has the pilcrows to let you know when a new paragraph starts. But then, for example, when you see a letter here, that is letting you know that there is a reference. So you find that letter, and what's really cool is they line them up perfectly. So there's your L, and that lets you know where this concept is referenced elsewhere in the Bible. Also, when you see an asterisk, like right there, gotten, then that's letting you know a more modern definition of the word. Then when you see a number through here, for example, right here, you see this little bitty 5. That's going to let you know, it's more like a textual footnote, so it's going to give you a more literal rendering of the word. And then when you see the SS in your text like this right here, then that's letting you know it's a monetary unit, and it's letting you know where to find out what that is. What I really wish they'd do is just go ahead and define the monetary unit, but monetary units can be confusing because of inflation and various things. But anyhow, that's how this works. There are over 200,000 of these references. And when you get to the New Testament, the words of Christ are going to be in black. And then there's an example of one of your chapter introduction. Just really nice, just letting you know what's coming. You have the running headers, of course, as I mentioned, but one of my favorite features of this Bible. Are you ready for this? You'll notice in the Bible itself, it does not have self-pronouncing words. If you're anything like me, you find self-pronouncing words absolutely annoying in your Bible because it has those markings. But if you want to know how to pronounce the names, boom, there it is. So it gives you your self-pronouncing text in the back of the Bible. This is a phenomenal Bible. Now, real quick, this is the Belarus print. This is the old Youngblood print that they no longer make. And as I said, wait to the end of the video for some information on that. So I'm going to take you to the beginning of the Gospel of John. This is 33 GSM paper, as is this. But you can see the differences between the Youngblood editions and this edition. First, this paper is going to have a little more of a creamy look. This paper is more of a stark white. But as you can see, the ghosting is super similar. There's not a whole lot of difference between the ghosting in this one and the ghosting in this one. This is a good spot to look at too. It's maybe a little more significant in the Belarus one, but it's not notably different. But if you waited to the end for what I'm about to tell you, here's the good news. Are y'all ready for this? Somewhere around the first of the year, they are actually in process of reprinting the Westminster Reference Bible right now. So sometime around the first of the year, you're going to be getting brand new editions that have gone back to Youngblood. So if you love the Youngblood editions, then they're coming back. Also, there are people out there that are attempting to almost scalp and charge exorbitant prices for young blood editions of this Bible, you don't have to worry about that. Just wait till somewhere around the first of the year. This is August of 2025, so we're talking about somewhere near the end of December-ish or somewhere in that range. They're going to have these young blood editions, so don't pay those scalper prices. Just wait a few more months, you all, and relief is almost here. God bless you. Keep calm. Jesus on. This is your Nicholsworth.